You've probably always assumed that kiwi fruit comes from New Zealand. After all, the name kiwi is so closely associated with New Zealand that it almost feels like it belongs there. But the truth is far more surprising. The kiwi fruit we know today didn't originally come from New Zealand. It actually comes from China, where it grew wild for centuries before anyone thought of commercializing it. Kiwi fruit, scientifically known as actinidia, is a fruit native to China, particularly the Yangtze River Valley and the Qinling Mountain region. Historically, it was collected from the wild and sometimes grown as an ornamental plant, admired for its unique shape, fuzzy skin, and bright green interior. In China, the fruit was known as miho tao, which translates roughly to monkey peach. One of the defining features of kiwi fruit is that it is dioecious, meaning male and female flowers grow on separate plants. This characteristic makes cultivation challenging because fruit production requires careful pollination. For centuries, the fruit remained largely a regional curiosity rather than a commercially significant crop. Its delicate nature, combined with the difficulty of transport and lack of large-scale agricultural techniques, meant that China never developed an industrialized kiwi fruit sector. The story of the kiwi fruit, as we know it today, begins in New Zealand in the early 20th century. In 1904, a New Zealand schoolteacher named Isabel Fraser traveled to China and brought back seeds of the fruit. Her initial goal was simply to cultivate them in New Zealand gardens as a novel, exotic plant. By 1906, the first plants had taken root, and by 1910, they began bearing fruit. At this stage, kiwi fruit remained largely unknown outside small communities in New Zealand. The fruit was referred to as the Chinese gooseberry, a name that reflected its origin and its slightly tart flavor reminiscent of gooseberries. While accurate, the name had clear drawbacks. It was difficult to pronounce in English-speaking markets. It sounded exotic in a way that made it seem cheap or unfamiliar, and during the Cold War era, associations with China were politically sensitive. Despite these challenges, small-scale cultivation gradually spread, particularly in the warmer, temperate regions of New Zealand's North Island. People began experimenting with different planting techniques, pollination methods, and pruning styles, laying the groundwork for future commercial production. The year 1959 marked a turning point for the fruit. In order to successfully export to international markets, particularly the United States and Europe, New Zealand growers decided to rebrand the fruit. The name Kiwifruit was chosen, inspired by New Zealand's national bird, the kiwi. The fruit's brown, fuzzy skin even bore a loose resemblance to the small, flightless bird. This rebranding was not merely cosmetic. By connecting the fruit to New Zealand itself, growers created a story that resonated with global consumers. It was more than a fruit. It was a symbol of New Zealand's pristine landscapes, innovation, and exotic appeal. The new name helped the kiwi fruit escape the limitations of its former identity and open doors to marketing campaigns abroad. While the name change was critical, the real success of kiwi fruit hinged on agriculture and horticultural innovation. Enter Hayward Wright, a New Zealand horticulturist who, in the 1920s, selected and cultivated a variety that would become the foundation of the modern kiwi fruit industry, the Hayward variety. Hayward kiwi fruit had several advantages over earlier plants. The fruit was larger, it could withstand long-distance shipping, and it had better shelf life. These traits were essential for commercial viability. With Hayward variety, New Zealand growers could expand production beyond gardens and small orchards to commercial farms, confident that their product could reach overseas markets in good condition. By the 1930s, the first commercial orchards were established in New Zealand, mainly in the Bay of Plenty region, which offered ideal climate conditions, warm summers, mild winters, and well-drained soil. In 1952, New Zealand exported its first shipment of kiwi fruit to the United Kingdom, a modest beginning that would soon grow into a global enterprise. By the 1960s, exports were steadily increasing, laying the foundation for international recognition. An unexpected factor in the global spread of kiwi fruit was World War II. Allied soldiers stationed in New Zealand were introduced to the fruit, and many took a liking to its unique taste and texture. When these soldiers returned home to the United States, the United Kingdom, and other countries, they brought back not only memories, but also a desire for the fruit itself. In a sense, the war acted as a free, worldwide marketing campaign, introducing kiwifruit to consumers who would otherwise never have encountered it. This early exposure helped establish a base of demand in key overseas markets, setting the stage for more organized export efforts in the decades to follow. Despite early successes, the kiwifruit industry in New Zealand faced a major crisis in the 1980s. The global cultivation of kiwifruit had expanded, with countries like Italy, Greece, and Japan entering the market. At the same time, domestic competition among New Zealand growers intensified. By 1987, an estimated 91% of kiwifruit farmers were losing money, and the industry teetered on the edge of collapse. To address this, New Zealand implemented a bold institutional solution: the creation of a single export system. This system centralized marketing, standardized prices, controlled quality, and enforced consistent branding. By effectively coordinating the industry, New Zealand transformed a fragmented agricultural sector into a well-organized global enterprise. Farmers benefited from more predictable returns, international buyers received reliable quality, and the kiwifruit brand gained credibility around the world. The establishment of Zespri in 1997 marked the next evolution of the kiwifruit industry. Zespri took over from the previous marketing board and consolidated New Zealand's kiwifruit exports under a single, globally recognized brand. Zespri's strategy focused not only on unifying marketing, but also on innovation and product differentiation. The introduction of the gold kiwifruit in 1997 was a milestone. This variety was sweeter, smoother skinned, and designed for premium markets. It quickly became popular in Japan, Europe, and North America, allowing Zespri to command higher prices and elevate the perceived value of kiwifruit worldwide. In the 2010s, the industry faced another challenge: the bacterial disease Pseudomonas syringae. Actinidiae, commonly known as PSA, threatened entire orchards. Zespri responded by developing disease-resistant varieties, such as the Sungold kiwifruit, and implementing strict orchard management practices. These measures not only protected the crop, but also reinforced Zespri's reputation for quality and innovation. Today, kiwifruit is grown in many countries around the world, including China, Italy, Greece, and Iran. Surprisingly, while China is now the largest producer of kiwifruit, it did not commercialize the fruit in the same way as New Zealand. The country that first took the wild fruit and turned it into a high-value global product was New Zealand. This history presents a fascinating twist. The fruit originated in China, was commercialized and branded in New Zealand, and then eventually returned to China in the form of large-scale cultivation. Economically, this is a classic example of technology and branding transferring abroad and then being re-imported, a story of globalization, innovation, and the power of intellectual property and marketing. Kiwifruit is more than just a fruit. It has become an integral part of New Zealand's national identity and export economy. By the early 21st century, Zespri was exporting kiwifruit to over 50 countries, generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue annually. The fruit is celebrated not only for its taste and nutritional value, but also as a symbol of New Zealand's innovation in agriculture and international trade. So, the next time you enjoy a kiwifruit, remember its remarkable journey. Its name might make you think it comes from New Zealand, but its roots lie in China. Its commercial success depends on New Zealand's ingenuity in horticulture, branding, and global marketing strategy. From a wild fruit in remote Chinese mountains to a premium product on supermarket shelves around the world, kiwifruit is more than a fruit. It's a lesson in innovation, globalization, and the power of a good story. If you like my channel, feel free to like and subscribe. See you next time.